Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Unacademy IAS, a one stop destination for all the English medium civil services aspirants. This is Shyam Kaggod here, taking up the Indian economy monthly current affairs for the articles which have appeared in the month of July as well as August 2025. Now, before I start the discussion, please do let me know in the chat section that I'm audible and visible for all of you. Please do let me know that I'm audible as well as visible. Done. Thanks a lot. Let's start the discussion. First and foremost, I keep on receiving a lot of mails as well as the comments asking me for the PDF as well as the PPT that I'm using in the session. There'll be two documents which will be uploaded after the session is over. One, the PPT that I'm using, right, that is itself in the form of PDF. And second one is the handouts or the notes that I'll be providing on the articles that I'm discussing in the session today. All you need to do is basically use the QR code that is visible here, scan the QR code, join the Telegram channel, and after the session is over, you will get access to both PPT as well as the handouts. And alternatively, basically, you will be searching for these particular notes over a period of time. That is, you'll keep on searching the current affairs of economy this week articles for the month of June, July, August, so on and so forth. So what I've done is basically created a Google Drive, and all the PPT and PDF that I'm using in the monthly current affairs class, as well as the ETW economy this week videos that I'm doing every Thursday, will be uploaded in this particular Google Drive. And this Google Drive, the access will be given to all of you. After today's session is over, I'll be pasting the Google Drive link in my Telegram channel. Click on this, you will get access to all of these, download it and use it for revision. Done. Now, most of you are preparing for the civil services examination 2026 and 2027. All you need to do is ensure you will have a comprehensive coverage of the static portion, right updates of current affairs, the prelims as well as a mains test series, and not to forget the correct and the right efficient reading material. All of this will be available to you once you enroll into our courses, which is available at a price of 17,999, the lowest ever price. Those who are interested, just note that this is a limited period offer which is going to end very soon. I've been told so. Want to check out the details, want to enroll and learn from us, use the link provided in the description below. Do not miss out. Let's start. So the first article, S&P upgrades India's rating after 18 years. Very important article if you ask me. Why? First and foremost, questions in the preliminary examination in the past has been asked on the concept of credit rating. Now, what is this idea of a credit rating? Please listen to me carefully now. Whenever an individual wants to borrow, let's say from a lending institution, for example, you will go to a bank, you will apply for a loan. The bank will not simply give you a loan, they will ask you for a rating called as a credit rating. And this basically, the credit rating is represented in the form of a CIBIL score. I'm pretty sure all of you heard of this. And they will basically keep on sending you your CIBIL score has increased, decreased, check your CIBIL score free of cost, etc. So one for individuals, this is called as a CIBIL score. What about the governments? What if the government of India wants to borrow from the market? And I hope all of you know this. Government of India, the state governments, right, the corporates, etc., do borrow from the market. And when they are borrowing from the market, essentially, there will also be a score provided to them, a rating provided to them, which is basically called as a credit rating. The common term is credit rating, but please remember this. Whenever the credit rating is provided for the government, it is called as sovereign credit rating. Is this point clear to everyone? Please do let me know. For government, we use the term sovereign credit rating, and for companies, etc., we simply use the term credit rating. Sir, why sovereign? Why do we use the term sovereign? Whenever anything is associated with the government, remember the term sovereign by default is mentioned. For example, sovereign government bonds or sovereign gold bonds, sovereign green bonds, sovereign credit rating, etc. Remember that technical term, sovereign means connected to the government. Now listen to me carefully. The next important point, in the global market. In the global market, there are three very important credit rating agencies. There are three very important credit rating agencies. And before I tell you the names of the credit rating agency, I know a lot of you will be thinking, sir, what do you mean by credit rating? Please tell me the first, what do you mean by credit rating before telling me about the three rating agencies. Credit rating basically represents what is the credit worthiness of a borrower. Is my point clear? The credit rating represents what is the credit worthiness of a borrower. If the government is borrowing, is the government credit worthy, more credit worthy, less credit worthy? And this representation of the credit worthiness, please remember, generally is represented either purely in the form of alphabets, it is represented in the form of alphabets, or else these are also represented in the form of combination of alphabets as well as numbers. That is alphanumeric representation. Purely alphabets or alphabets plus numbers. For example, whenever you come across alphabets such as triple B, triple A, double A, right? Or for that matter, right? A C, D, etc. This is a representation of the credit rating which is given in the form of alphabets. Whereas if you come across representation such as BAA2, BAA3, right? This is a representation of credit rating in the form of combination of alphabets as well as numbers. Is everybody okay? Please do give the confirmation in the chat section so that I am also aware that I am also understanding that you people are understanding, and more importantly, I am realizing that you people are not simply sleeping, you are listening to me. And even if you're sleeping, please ensure that you people will not snore, disturb your neighbors, disturb your parents, or disturb your siblings, etc. Keep on giving me that confirmation that you're awake. Let me go forward. Now, the three global rating agencies, like I said earlier, the three global rating agencies are one, S&P, which is there in the current affairs now. Second one is Fitch, and the third one is Moody's. Second one is Fitch, third one is Moody's. These are the three global rating agencies. Right? Why do I say three global rating agencies? Does it mean there are no rating agencies in India? Please remember there are rating agencies within India as well. For example, there is CRISIL in India. There is ICRA, right, etc. in India. But these three control majority of the global rating market. Majority of the rating in the global market is controlled by these three American companies. Now, right, understand, come to the current affairs connection here. For the first time in the last 18 years, for the first time in the last 18 years, the S&P has given an upgrade to India's rating. It has provided an upgrade. What do you mean by upgrade? Compared to what was the rating earlier, now our rating has been improved by a notch. Simple point. Right? Our rating has been improved by one level. That is the meaning of giving one upgrade. And that has been done for the first time ever in the 18 years. What is the importance of this article? How it is relevant to UPSC? What is the right outcome of this kind of an upgrade? Listen to me carefully. Whenever there is an upgrade in your credit rating, what does it actually represent? It represents the fact that you as a borrower, now you are more credit worthy. Is the term okay with all of you? You as a borrower, you are more credit worthy now. And when you become more credit worthy, what does it actually mean in terms of, let's say, common man? For you and me, it simply means if there is an upgrade, safety is more. Security is more. You do not have to be more worried about investing in these kinds of instruments in the market. That is basically the meaning of giving an upgrade and right moving upwards in the ladder like this. So one outcome is what? Now the government, because it is more safer, because it has been provided with an upgrading now, government can borrow from the market. Government can borrow from the market at lower rate of interest. Is the point clear to all of you? Government can borrow at a lower rate of interest. That is the first outcome. Second one, because it has become more safer now. Because it has become more safer. And remember one more technical term. Whenever you divide the, right, let's say the ratings, whatever ratings are there, these are divided into two groups. One is called as an investment group, investment grade, and the second one is called as a junk grade. Is it okay? One is called as investment grade and the second one is called as junk grade. India's sovereign credit rating is the lowest within the investment grade. The rating that has been provided to India is the lowest within the investment grade. Any more downward revisions, right? Of course, understand this. Any more downward or downgrading that would have been done for India, we would have directly entered into the junk grade. Junk grade means risk is much, much higher. Risk is much, much higher if you are downgraded to a junk grade. So we are within the investment grade, and within the investment grade, there is one notch movement upwards, one level movement we have moved upwards like this. So one, borrowing rate of interest, cost of borrowing will go down. More and more interested investors now. More investors will be interested in investing in such kind of instruments. Right? Lot of investors which were worried about, let's say, the lowest grade within the investment category, now they'll be more comfortable because there is not the lowest now, it is one notch above the, right, the lowest within the investment category. This will attract lot of investors. So these are some of the things that are going to be right observed or will be an outcome because of upgrading done by S and P. Is everybody okay with the discussion so far? Next important point. Why? What has been the reason? Why the upgrading has been provided by S&P? The upgrading has been provided because of the reforms or the policies that have been implemented by the government as well as the Reserve Bank of India in the last couple of years. For example, the government of India has been focused on fiscal consolidation. All of you are okay with the term here? And if you have any doubts, feel free. I will not scold anyone. Right? Do drop your right doubts in the chat section. The government of India has implemented fiscal consolidation. That is, the fiscal deficit is being dragged downwards now, backwards. Right? The fiscal prudence, the expenditure that was done earlier, now we are more worried about investing in infrastructure. And when you keep on spending in infrastructure, infrastructure will always provide supporting services for the growth, not only today, but also in the future. The government has been taking these kind of measures. The debt has been dragged down, fiscal deficit has been reduced, the expenditure is more towards capital expenditure. At the same point of time, what has RBI done? What has the Reserve Bank of India done? Reserve Bank of India has also ensured that there is sufficient liquidity available in the market, which will help us in promotion of growth. And so these kind of reforms by both the government as well as RBI, the rating agency says is good for Indian economic growth, not only in this, right, our current time period, but also in the coming days. So citing all of this, the S&P, that is the Standard and Poor, one of the global rating agencies, has given an upgrading for India's sovereign credit rating. Everybody is okay? Now, this is a MCQ. I want everybody to solve the MCQ. Take 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Give me the answer in the chat section. Solve the MCQ and give me the right answer in the chat section now. Kritika Singh Jaswal says B. Palla Anusha says C. Dhansham. My dear, my name is also Sham. So one Sham to another Sham, B. Basic column B. Okay, Karan B. Shubham Kumar B. What about others? Others will be like, right, sir, you solve it. I'm here to simply listen to you. Don't ask me to do the work. You do the work. I'll look at you doing the work. Ha. Yashvardhan Bajpayee B. Tony Stark. Arey, Marvel character is also here. B. Johnson John B. Okay, let's solve it then. In India, these are regulated by SEBI. The credit rating agencies are regulated by SEBI. Yes, yes, that is true. In the credit information bureaus, FDI is prohibited. Underline the term, it is prohibited. Answer is no. FDI is allowed. Right. So second statement is incorrect. Third one, India's sovereign credit ratings is right in the investment grade. Yes, it is in the investment grade. It is within the investment grade category. We have not yet been downgraded, right? Currently, we have not been downgraded to the junk grade, right? We are within the investment grade. Third one is correct. First one is correct. Two statements are true. Right option for the question will be only two are correct. Can we go forward now? And if you have any kinds of doubts, right, do drop in the chat section or else wait till I cover all the articles. I'll address your questions at the end of the session. Next, retail direct portal, right? Retail direct portal, auto bid option has been added for treasury bills. Treasury bills. Now listen to me very carefully. The Reserve Bank of India back in the year 2021 introduced a facility called as Retail Direct Gilt. Retail Direct Gilt Facility. RDG. Retail Direct Gilt Facility. And don't look at the statement and say, sir, guilt, right? It should be GILT. You have written GILT. Spelling mistake you have done. Saturday afternoon, you might be right worried about going outside, have fun, etc. So spelling mistake. No, it is a guilt, GILT itself, right? Not the other guilt. I know a lot of you will face other guilt. What about other guilt? Sir, I purchased 10 books. I have not yet opened even one of them. That's a different guilt. I purchase newspapers every day without fail. Hindu newspaper every day without fail, but I'm not able to read them. That's a different guilt altogether. Right? So, guilt here basically means treasury or government securities. These are referred to as guilts. Okay. Now, come to the point here. What was the use of the RDG? I'll start using the short form now. What was the use of RDG? The Reserve Bank of India simply said, right now, that is before the introduction of this facility, there was a different model used. And that was basically referred to as, let's say the aggregator model. Aggregator model. Right. So instead of using the aggregator model where indirectly, I repeat, indirectly you would be investing. Right. You would be going through, let's say, a stock market aggregator to invest in the the guilds of the government. Rather than that, RBI simply said, you open an account with the Reserve Bank of India. You open an account with the Reserve Bank of India, and using this particular account, you can directly purchase government securities now. Is the point clear? Directly you can purchase, bid for, or not bid. It's non-competitive bid here. You can directly purchase the government securities. That is basically the concept of a retail direct gilt facility. Is everybody okay with the concept of RDG? Do let me know. Is everybody okay with the concept of RDG? What is the benefit of RDG? One, retail investor participation will be promoted. Retail investor participation will be promoted. Reason being, right now in case of India, retail investors are generally interested in investing in equity market. Right? Retail investors are more interested in investing in equity market. Okay. Rather than focusing only on the retail market, that is the equity market, now RBI simply says government bonds are also very safe. Government instruments are also very, very safe. Why don't retail investor focus their investment even in the government security market? And that is a precise reason this kind of facility in order to promote retail investor participation has been introduced by RBI. Point number one. Point number two, if more and more retail investors will participate, it will also help them diversification of their investment. Third one, the government bonds, now government securities will be attracting more and more investors. That is also good for the government. It can borrow more. It can borrow at a lesser rate of interest because of the more number of buyers, etc. With that objective, RDG, Retail Direct Guild, has been introduced. Now, what RBI says? What RBI basically say? RBI now says we are going to provide the facility called as SIP. Understand this. We are going to provide the facility such as SIP for retail direct guild account holders. What is SIP? Systematic investment plans. I'll repeat the statement. Systematic investment plans. What is this idea for systematic investment plans? Listen to me carefully. There is something called as timing the market. If you're somebody who is investing, you will come across this particular phrase very often. They'll say, you need to time the market. What do you mean by time the market? You need to buy when the equity is lesser priced. That is, buy when the price is low, sell when the price is high. Is the point clear? Again, basic idea. Don't simply say, but sir, you are wrong. You will be wrong when you consider short selling. I'm not talking about short selling here. I'm simply talking about traditional investment. You buy when the price is low, you sell when the price is high. This is basically the concept of how you make profits in the equity market. But for this to be done, for this to happen, you need to time your buying, you need to time your sales. At the right time, you need to buy. At the right time, you need to sell. And because most of the investors do not understand how the market behaves, how the market operates, what most of the investors, especially retail investors, end up doing is they will buy when the price is high, they will sell when the price is low. It is very difficult to time the market. It is very difficult to sustain profitability in the market. So there is always a danger that you might be not be able to time the market correctly. Is there a solution to this? You're not an expert. Is there a solution to this? Experts argue there is a solution, that is concept of SIP, systematic investment plan. What happens in a systematic investment plan? You will decide how much exactly you are going to invest at what frequency. I'll repeat the statement. You will decide how much you want to invest, same amount of money at regular intervals. For example, let's say you will decide to invest 5,000 rupees every month. This is an SIP. 5,000 rupees every month. So you will decide the date, you will decide the timing, and at that particular time, on that particular date, 5,000 rupees will be taken from you, invested in the market. Which means you do not have to be worried about market fluctuations, because when the prices are high, you'll be purchasing lesser number of instrument. When the prices are low, you'll be purchasing higher number of instruments. Is the point clear to all of you? Do let me know. What is the beauty of SIP? When the prices of the instruments are higher, you're not spending more. You're still spending same 5K. Right? You will purchase lesser units. When the price is lesser, when the price of the security is lesser, you will spend 5,000, you will purchase more number of security. This is basically the idea of a systematic investment plan. Now, very recently in the Monetary Policy Committee, RBI has announced that SIP feature will be made available even to retail direct guild account holders. Right? I hope you understand. SIP feature will be made available even to RDG account holders. Meaning what? Let's say you will decide first of every month, 20,000 rupees you will invest at this time in the government bonds. Again, although I'm saying government bonds, the focus here is treasury bills now. Right now, this is made available for treasury bills. Treasury bills are short-term instruments. Bonds are long-term instruments. So argument is here, Under the SIP feature, the RBI which is making available for the RDG account holders, every month, let's say on the first, 20,000 rupees will be taken from your account, and that will be used to purchase the government securities, that is the treasury bills. Either here, right, that is a new issuance or reinvestment, reissuance, doesn't matter. That will be invested in the treasury bills. This feature will be made available for the RDG account holders, which can ensure regular investments from your account will enter into the treasury bills market. You do not have to keep on tracking the market. You do not have to keep on running behind the information associated with the treasury bill market anymore. This feature has been enabled for the RDG account holders. Everybody is okay with the first very important announcement here? Do let me know. And this is the first very important announcement done by RBI. Second very important announcement in the recent monetary policy is associated with the model of co-lending. Listen to me very carefully, slightly technical. Model of co-lending. What has RBI announced in the context of co-lending? Co-lending for the first time in case of India by RBI was announced back in 2018. And then it came into force from 2020. Now RBI has announced a different or new types of changes that will be implemented starting next year, that is 2026, in the context of co-lending. Point number one, what do you mean by co-lending? Co-lending means two entities coming together to give a loan. Simple. Two entities will give a loan. That is called as co-lending. Right now, understand this. Before the regulations were announced by RBI, co-lending was allowed between an NBFC and a bank. Is the point clear to all of you? Co-lending was allowed between an NBFC and a bank. Now, according to the latest guideline, RBI simply says, and now co-lending will be allowed between different types of commercial banks, including other types of financial institutions, including NBFCs. And what is the logic? Instead of having only bank and NBFC, now you can have other agencies, other financial institutions involved in the model of co-lending. This is one very important change that RBI has announced, but it will be implemented after 2025. First one. Second one, there is this concept of 10% of the loan, 10% of the loan on the balance sheet. Listen to me carefully. 10% of the loan value on the balance sheet. RBI now says both of these entities, right? Let's say bank and NBFC, they have given a loan. They have come together, given a loan. Now, both of these entities, until recently, they were supposed to have at least 20% of the loan value on their individual balance sheet. What do you mean by at least 20% of the loan value? Imagine the loan given is 10 lakh rupees. Imagine the loan given is 10 lakh rupees. The bank will have to have at least 2 lakh rupees given in the form of loan out of this total 10 lakh rupees. And the NBFC should have given at least 2 lakh rupees. The NBFC should have contributed at least 2 lakh rupees out of the total value of 10 lakh rupees. Earlier, the guidelines basically said at least 20% of the loan should be on individual balance sheets. Now, RBI says we will change it. Not 20%, we will make it 10%. 10% of the value of the loan should be there in the balance sheet of both of the lenders. Now, you will be wondering what is the use of this? Whether it is 20, whether it is 30, 15, 10%, what is the use of it? This is very simple. Instead of giving, let's say, 2 lakh rupees in the form of loan out of total 10 lakh, now if it will be reduced to, let's say, 1 lakh rupees, please tell me, is it possible as a result of this NBFCs can issue more and more loans now? I want an answer from all of you. Can the NBFCs issue more and more loans now because of this kind of an announcement? Because you don't have to give 2 lakh rupees, right? You can give only 1 lakh rupees. That is more than sufficient. That is more than sufficient according to the latest guidelines. Right now, NBFC earlier had limited amount of money and it had to give minimum 2 lakh rupees. Now it will come down to 1 lakh rupees. So more and more loans can be issued by NBFC entering into these kind of co-lending agreements with, let's say, other financial institutions. Is everybody okay? Manikant Kumar, my dear, what is the doubt? What is the issue? Right? Instead of giving 2 lakh rupees, now you can give only 1 lakh rupees out of total 10 lakh, which means if you have a 10 lakhs, you want to give a loan. Instead of giving it to 5 people, now you can give a loan to ten people by having co-lending arrangements with banks. That is going to be one of the impacts of this kind of a arrangement. Everybody is okay? Right? Interest rate is high. Chemistry and environment says interest rate is high. My dear, no. Interest rate on this, there is a term called as blended rate of interest. Please remember, blended rate of interest. Blended rate of interest. What is blended rate of interest? Imagine bank has given 8 lakh rupees, charging 8% rate of interest, and NBFC has given 2 lakh rupees, charging 9% rate of interest. Hypothetically, can I decide what will be the average rate of interest? Do let me know. Based on the amount of loan given, can I decide what is the rate of interest? Blended rate of interest. That is basically blended rate of. So co-lending norms changed, will come into force from 2026. Be careful. UPSC has the habit of asking questions on co-lending norms. Now, associated with this, one more MCQ. Please solve the MCQ and give me the correct answer as soon as possible in the chat section. Puja, what is meaning of co-lending? Two authorities, two entities coming together to give a loan. Co-lending. Two entities coming together to give a loan. That is co-lending. Okay. ah, Ravi CR says A. Kritika Singh Jaswal says A. Karan A. Shubham Kumar A. Mohammad Wani, sir, economy this week or this initiative, which is better? Both are good. Follow both. Follow both. Why? Listen to me carefully. Whatever I'm covering in economy this week, I'm not touching those articles in this initiative. Is it okay? Whatever I'm covering in economy this week, I'm not touching that in this initiative. So attend both, download the PPT, PDF of notes of both. That will be very comprehensive coverage of current affairs of Indian economy. Okay, fun gamers B. Anshu Gaurav A. Fun gamers B. Right. Niharika Khanna B. Gaurav and brothers B. Okay, now let's solve it. The retail direct gilt account will help in participating in primary market of government bonds. Yes. Yes, primary market means new issuance. New issuance of, right, let's say bonds. Yes, it will help you in in purchasing the bonds whenever they are issued newly in the market. Using the RDG account, the bonds of only central government can be purchased. Only central government can be purchased? No. You can purchase union government bonds. You can purchase even the state government bonds. The RDG account facility is offered by SEBI for easier participation in the equity market. Is it offered by SEBI? No, it is offered by Reserve Bank of India. And so, first statement is correct. Right option is option A. Only one is done. Okay, so let's go forward now. Next article. Petrol lobbies behind E20 fuel fear campaign. Statement given by Minister for Road Transportation and Highways. What are the important points? Let's go one after the other. There is this concept of ethanol blending that is followed in India. And by the way, India is not the only country around the world following ethanol blending. Many countries around the world follow ethanol blending model. For example, Brazil also follows ethanol blending. Now, what is the idea of ethanol blending? When you purchase petrol, that's a fuel. Part of the petrol, right? Part of the petrol basically consists of ethanol. Remaining will be right petrol. For example, today, if you go to the market and purchase a petrol, 20% of 1 liter that you purchase will be ethanol, and remaining 80% will be actually petrol. Is the point clear? Right? 20% will be ethanol. That's the reason we call it as E20. 20%, that is out of 1 liter, 20% will be ethanol, and 80% will be the actual petrol. So they combine it and pump it into your tank. Now, this idea of ethanol blending program is not new in India. It's been more than 2 decades since Government of India has been promoting the concept of ethanol blending. Why? What is the reason? What is the logic behind it? First one, the reasons behind this particular program is that, first one, the Government of India simply says we are too dependent on crude oil imports. Is this point clear? We are too dependent on crude oil imports. Import dependence is very, very high. How much? 85%. 85% of our requirement we import from rest of the world. So rather than importing all of this, why don't we merge or mix ethanol with petrol and sell it? Which means instead of buying 1 liter petrol, you are simply purchasing zero point 0.8 liter petrol. And because you are purchasing zero point 0.8 liter petrol, the overall demand for the petrol will go down. Overall demand for the crude will also go down. According to the government estimates, currently, because of the ethanol blending program, India has been able to save 22 lakh crore rupees. Remember this kind of data? You can mention this particular data in the mains examination. 22 lakh crore rupees in the form of savings because of lesser import of crude. This is first very important point. Second, environment friendly. Environmental friendly, because you're not burning crude, you're not burning, right, let's say fuel now directly, you're using the blending now, the emissions will be controlled. And because the emissions will be controlled, it will help us, right, basically reduce the emissions and meet the targets which Government of India has set up. For example, I'm pretty sure all of you know this. Government of India simply says by 2070 we want to become, right, zero emission, that is a net zero emission. All of you know this. By 2070, we want to become net zero emission economy. That is another benefit. Third benefit is, in order to produce ethanol, you'll be purchasing the produce from the agriculture sector. Correct? You'll be purchasing produce from agriculture sector, for example, sugarcane. Now, don't you think when there is one more buyer in the market, there are other buyers. There is one more buyer for this particular crop in the market. Farmers will be able to earn better amount of revenue. Correct or not? Please do let me know in the chat section, by the way. So farmers will be able to generate sufficient or good amount of revenue because there is another buyer of their crop in the market. The Government of India simply says these are the reasons why I want to promote ethanol blending program. Why I want to promote ethanol blending program. But in recent times, there have been certain concerns raised regarding ethanol blending program. What are the concerns? Listen to me very carefully. One, the consumers argue that there was no choice given to them. There was no choice given to the consumers. What do you mean by choice here? Let me give you, right, a case study. You can quote this case study to buttress your answer, to add value to your answer. Another country which is very well known for ethanol adoption is the country Brazil. Their ethanol adoption, ethanol blending is much, much higher. They have already reached E27, ethanol 27. Generally, in the petrol pumps there, when the customer goes, there is always an option. There is always an option. There is a choice given to customers whether they want to procure or purchase this kind of fuel or, right, a blended fuel. And even in blended, what kind of blending would they want to prefer? An option is given to the buyers there. So in India, the consumers or the buyers are basically saying, where is the choice for me? There is no choice. This has been imposed on me. Right? Without even consulting me, this basically has been imposed on me. That is one, correct? Second one, If I purchase 1 liter of petrol now, am I getting 1 liter of petrol? No, I'm not getting 1 liter of petrol. 20% is ethanol, 80% is petrol. So if the petrol is only 80%, why am I paying for 1 liter petrol? All of you are able to understand. Why am I paying for 1 liter of petrol then? And don't you think the prices would have moderated or should have been moderated? Which means I am paying for 1 liter, but I'm not getting 1 liter. Something else I'm getting in combination of 800 ml. Everybody is okay. Pawan says 80 ml. My dear, 800 ml, not 80 ml. And so, third concern, the vehicles which are being used in India, these have been manufactured in different years. These have been manufactured in different years. The ones which have been manufactured in 2025, these are E20 compliant. The engines are E20 compliant. What about the other vehicles which have been manufactured? For example, if your vehicle, you have purchased the vehicle in 2023, it is E10 compliant. Right? It is E10 compliant. That is the vehicle manufacturers who have sold to you. They are only saying in all the books, user manuals, etc., the engine only will support blending up to 10%. Do not use any kind of fuel which is blended above 10%. So now the concern is the vehicle manufacturers are saying use E10, the government is selling me E20. The concern is there is a higher moisture because of more ethanol content, there is a higher moisture content. And because there is a higher moisture content, what if it will lead to corrosion? All of you are able to understand? What if it will lead to corrosion? If it will corrode, right, let's say my engine parts, that is a burden on me. And vehicle manufacturers will not basically accept their liability. Why? They have clearly stated you are not supposed to use a blending above 10%. If you fill your engine or if you fill your vehicle with E20, that is not the liability of the engine manufacturer. They will not be holding or they will not be paying any amount or they will not be accepting any kind of a liability. So these are some of the issues or concerns which have been raised against the ethanol blending program, right, very, very recently. Is everybody okay with the discussion now? Please do let me know. Now you'll be asking, sir, what is the way forward then? Is there any solution to this? What government of India should have done is followed model which was followed in Brazil, which was followed in Brazil. Brazil abruptly did not introduce this kind of a blending program. Slowly and gradually, they implemented this kind of a program. They gave choice to the consumers. They had negotiations or talks with the engine manufacturers, that is, car manufacturers. Whenever they wanted to go to the next level of blending, cars which will support the engines, which will support this kind of a blending, were manufactured and released in the market. Even today, when you go to a petrol bunk there is an option given to you because there are older vehicles with older engines which will support, let's say, E18 blending, which will support E20 blending. So those vehicles should not be right devoid of purchasing any kind of a petrol there. So option or the choice is given to consumers when they go to the market and right go to petrol bunks for refilling. These kind of measures will ensure that the stakeholders, car manufacturers, the consumers, all of them are aware about what is happening in terms of policy. And this will help in smooth implementation of policy rather than this kind of a friction that will arise, which will basically right disrupt the whole vehicle segment now. Done? Okay, so these are certain things which are there in the newspaper associated with E20. Very important. Please be careful. Please solve the question now. How many of the following are likely outcomes of E20 fuel consumption in India? How many of them are the likely outcomes? Niharika, my dear, please check your answer. Please check your answer. Pavan also says D. Okay. All the five. All the five are likely outcomes. Ghansham says A. Deepak Suman says A. Shubham Kumar C. Pooja C. Okay, let's start then. Let's start. How many of the following are likely outcomes of E20 fuel consumption in India? Higher sales of vehicles. Is there any direct correlation? Please do let me know. If there is a E20 blending program, it will contribute to higher sale of the vehicles. Will people run to the right, let's say the showrooms because there is E20? Right? No. Correct? All of it okay? No. Lower toll charges. Just because you are refilling with E20, will the government cut the toll charges for you? Will the toll owner simply say you are blending, you are using E20 blended fuel? Very good. Right? Please pass through, pay lesser amount of toll. No. Lower pollution. Is this correct? Do let me know. Lower pollution. Yes, that is correct. Lower import dependence of fuels. Yes, that is also correct. Lower diesel prices. Right? Many of you are saying yes for this. Why? Is India following ethanol blending for diesel or petrol? Do let me know. Right? That is where the current affairs will play very important. Right? Is the ethanol blending followed in petrol or diesel? My dear, petrol. Petrol. We are following blending in petrol. Right? And moreover, right, if you simply say, sir, what if they follow in diesel? Has Government of India cut the prices of diesel? Have you seen that? Have you seen that anywhere happening? No. Right? So fifth one is incorrect. Fifth one is incorrect. Everybody is okay? So third and fourth, some of you are saying two is correct. Why two is correct? The people who are saying two is correct, can you please tell me? And tell me also the logic behind why you are saying two is correct. Toll charges will go down. What is the logic? Why the toll prices will go down? Why the toll tariff will go down? Because you're using ethanol blending, you tell me. Right? There is absolutely no connection. So 3 and 4 are correct. Right option for the question will be right only 2. Only 2. Right option for the question will be only 2. Right? That is right. Just a second. 3 and 4 are correct. Right option will be option A. Everybody is okay. Can I go forward now? Those people get offer from toll office. Which toll office, my dear? Please do let me know. Has anybody got a lower toll because you're using E20 fuel? I have not received. That's the reason I'm asking you. Let me know. Has anybody received right a discount on toll because of right? Let's say you're using E20 because it is available to everyone. E20 is used by everybody. Nobody is specifically using because if you take your two wheeler go to the petrol bunk now, by default you'll get E20. There is no option E10, E20. There is absolutely no option. You take your car, go to petrol bunk. By default, you'll get petrol, which is E20. So there is no specific mixing, right? Let's say different options like this. Let me go forward. AU Small Finance Bank gets universal banking license from RBI. Important. Please be very careful. AU Small Finance Bank has received a universal banking license, and this is important for a reason. After 11 years, I repeat, RBI after 11 years, for the first time, has given a universal banking license. After 11 years, has given a universal banking license. Because till 1991, there was a different banking regime in India. The controlling was different. The regulatory authority, their regulations were different, etc. Post 1991, when we started implementing LPG reforms, when we started implementing Narsimham Committee reforms, we introduced a new regime for licensing. We introduced a new regime for licensing, and that was basically called as stop and go. And the new regime was called as stop and go. That is, right, only for a certain period, RBI will call for applications of a universal bank license. You will have to apply. RBI will give you license. So after 1993, 10 bank licenses were given. After that, in 2004 and 2006, two more banking licenses were given. Now RBI simply said there is no point in following this kind of a methodology. Right? Only periodically I'll call for, right, let's say application. Periodically I'll keep on giving license like this. That is the reason 2016, right? Remember this. The last universal banking license that was issued was in 2014. IDBI was given a universal bank license. Bandhan Bank was given a universal banking license. From 2016, what RBI simply said was, let me introduce a new system for giving universal bank license. Right? The new system was introduced. That is basically called as on-tap licensing. Remember this, on-tap licensing. Right? What do you mean by on-tap licensing? RBI will not be defining the time period. RBI will not give you dates for you to submit application for a bank license. You want a bank license? Go to RBI, submit a license, submit an application. RBI will go through the application. Very stringent checks will be done by Reserve Bank of India, and RBI will decide whether you should be given a banking license or not. Is everybody able to understand the evolution of how the bank licenses are given? And there is a particular reason why RBI does it. There's a particular reason why there are small finance banks in India, SFBs, for example, AU or Jana, small finance bank. There are payment banks in India. My dear, please understand these are called as differentiated banks. Is everybody okay with the statement now? These are called as differentiated banks. Whereas State Bank of India, Punjab National Bank, ICICI Bank, right, or Bank of Baroda, these are referred to as universal banks. Is everybody okay with the differentiation between differentiated and universal bank? Do let me know. Sir, what is the difference in the function? Why they are named differently? The kind of activities, the kind of functions that they do are also different. The kind of activities they do are also different. For example, the small finance bank, can they provide any number of loans like State Bank of India? Just like State Bank of India, can they provide any kind of loans? No, they are not allowed. Earlier it was 75%, now it has been reduced to 60%. PSL criteria is 60% applicable for small finance bank. Can the payment bank give you a loan? No, they cannot give you a loan. But payment banks are barred from giving a loan in the market. The argument is very simple. When you want to operate as a universal bank, RBI generally is hesitant to give you a loan. I'm sorry, hesitant to give you a license. They are very hesitant. Why? Universal banking license means you can provide all the services that a normal bank will provide. The loans, yes. Deposits, yes. Right? Or let's say the locker facilities, yes. Insurance facilities, yes. You name a service which is provided by a particular public sector bank, a commercial bank. All of those services can be provided by an universal bank. So RBI is generally hesitant in giving you a direct license for you to operate as a universal bank. That's the reason RBI simply says, get experience. First, get experience. Operate as a payment bank. Operate as a small finance bank. Prove to me that you can manage the finances correctly, efficiently, and then come to me, apply for a universal banking license. I will see whether I should give you a universal banking license or not. For example, for an SFB, please have a look at this. For a small finance bank, if they want to get a universal banking license, they must meet these particular conditions. Is my point clear? For a small finance bank, if they want to get a banking license, universal banking license, of course, they will have to meet these kind of conditions. It's not that just because you apply for, right, a universal bank license, RBI will give you a license. No. For example, there are conditions regarding capital to risk weighted assets ratio, CRAR. There are conditions regarding the net worth of the bank. There are conditions regarding profitability of the bank. There are conditions that you should be registered under Schedule 2 of RBI Act. There is a condition that you must be listed in the stock market. Right? There is a condition regarding gross net performing assets, etc. You meet all the conditions. Right? Prove to me that you can perform well. Only and only then apply for a license. I will consider your application. And so, based on these particular parameters, AU Small Finance Bank has given an application to Reserve Bank of India. Now, Reserve Bank of India has given the in principle approval to provide universal banking license to AU Small Finance Bank. If you ask me, sir, where can the question be asked? Where is the potential area of questioning? One is the licensing regime. Second one is, right, what are the conditions? Right, listen to me. What are the conditions? What kind of conditions are imposed by Reserve Bank of India if you apply for a universal banking? And these are the two very important areas. And third one is they might ask you the difference between what is a differentiated bank and a universal bank. Straightforward, they can ask you difference between a universal bank and a differentiated bank in the preliminary examination. Everybody is okay, right? This article is that's why very important. After 11 years, for the first time, RBI has issued a universal banking license. Okay. Now, based on this, I've given a question here. Please solve the question. Please solve the question. How many of the following statements, right, or consider the following statements, how many of the above statements is or true? Solve the question. And once you solve, please post it in the chat section. Okay. A. Two people have solved. Deepak Priya B. Niharika A. Fun Gamers D. Different types of answers. D. And nobody wants to choose C, by the way. None of you have chosen C. If somebody chooses C, then all the four options will be covered. And you can simply claim, say, and say that Anekata mein ekata Bharat ki visheshata. Independence Day got over, and we will show, right, our unity in the different no choices that we make. Let's start. Okay, finally, Fun Gamers, he has already chosen, but again, option C. Done. Let's solve it. RBI has been following on-tap licensing for universal banks since LPG reforms. Since LPG reforms, underline this particular term. Has RBI been following this since LPG reforms? LPG reforms was announced in 1991. Is the statement true? No. I told you earlier the RBI used to follow stop and go policy. Please remember the term. Stop and go policy. Right? So this is incorrect. First one is incorrect. All the commercial banks in India are scheduled banks. How many of you said this is correct? All the commercial banks are scheduled banks in India. Is the statement true? Hey, somebody answer. Nobody wants to answer. All the commercial banks in India are scheduled banks. What is a scheduled bank? Scheduled bank basically means, right? Argument is scheduled bank means under the Reserve Bank of India Act of 1934, there is a second schedule. If you are registered under the Schedule 2 of RBI Act, you are called as a scheduled commercial bank. So all the commercial banks in India scheduled banks. Statement is incorrect. Some of you are saying yes. Statement is incorrect. Why? There can be scheduled commercial banks. There can be non-scheduled commercial banks as well. There can be non-scheduled commercial banks as well. Right? So second one is incorrect. Everybody is okay. Third one. Banks are covered as part of the strategic sectors under the latest disinvestment policy. Latest disinvestment policy. The statement is correct. The statement is correct, by the way. Please have a look at this particular picture. And before you start typing, sir, from where have you taken this picture? How do I know this is right a true right? Let's say the valid data, etc. I've taken this from the PIB website. I've taken this from the PIB website. Right. So please have a look at this. The government of India has introduced a new policy since 2021, which is called as a policy on strategic disinvestment. I'm adding one more current affairs point. Please focus. Policy on strategic disinvestment. According to the latest policy on strategic disinvestment, now the industries or the sectors covered under the ownership of government of India, that is units of government of India, which are there, will be divided into two parts. Will be divided into two parts. One is called as strategic and the second one is non-strategic. Strategic as well as non-strategic. Can you see the fourth grouping here? Please do let me know. Right, in the first grouping, can you see the fourth one? That is banking, insurance, and financial services. All these are basically called as a strategic sector. And all these are called as strategic sector. And the government simply says, if I have ownership in the strategic sector, I will maintain the bare minimum requirement. I will maintain the bare minimum requirement. That is most number of units. That is a maximum number of units I will have is maximum 4. What if more than 4 are present? Merge them. If merger is not possible, privatize them. If privatization is not possible, close them. Right? So please remember the banking is one of the areas under the strategic sector according to the latest policy on disinvestment. Everybody is okay. The third statement is correct. Right option is option A. Only one of the statements are true. Can we go forward now? Important. Please make a note of all of this. And don't worry. I think a lot of you are writing down whatever I'm saying in the, right, let's say in the lecture. Please do not write down. Please do not write down. After the session is over, listen to me carefully. Those who have joined late are involved in the habit of writing down everything. In my sessions, I don't want you people to write down, because if you're writing down, you're not listening correctly. If you're listening correctly, you will not be able to write down everything. So at the end of it, what will be the result? You will listen half, you will write half. What you have heard doesn't make sense with what you have written. And ultimately, the outcome will be you will scold me. You'll basically say, right, you have not taught me correctly. Simple. Listen first. Let the session be over. I've already told you the PDF of this particular discussion will be made available to you. Listen first. Let me go to the next article now. GEM to open doors for global bidders. GEM to open doors for global bidders. What is this idea? What is the importance of this? The government of India introduced a model called as Government e-Marketplace. The Ministry of Commerce has set up a platform called as Government e-Marketplace. This was launched in 2016. This platform was launched by the government in 2016. What is the use of the platform? The government simply says, whenever the government of India's departments, ministries, etc., they want to procure. Procure means what? Purchase. Purchase goods, purchase services, etc. Rather than individually every ministry following their own practice, now there will be one platform which will be used for all the procurement. Is this point clear to all of you? Simple. It is going to democratize the procurement process. They will use the statement like this. It will democratize the procurement process. Meaning what? Anybody and everybody can register in the platform and sell it to Government of India. So Government of India's ministries, departments, now it is mandatory for them. Please remember, it is mandatory for them to procure the goods and services through the portal. Now, are there exceptions provided? Of course, yes. Right? Exceptions are there. For example, what if they want to procure something associated with very closely with national security? Can they call anybody to supply that? No, they can go to a specific vendor and purchase. But government simply says it is mandatory for all the procurement to be done through government e-marketplace itself. The use of this is it is going to make the whole process transparent. It is going to make the whole process much more efficient. It is a cashless program, cashless platform. Cashless means settlement of the payment, everything will be done online. Right? You will have to bid for it online, submit the documentation online. Right? Once your bid is accepted, a procurement will be done, payment will be done online. Cashless, transparent, paperless, right? Platform which will democratize the procurement process of the union government. Is everybody okay with the system of GEM? Please do let me know. Now, why it is there in the newspaper? What is the update? What you need to understand? Two very important points here. The first very important point is whenever the government procures, the government is more focused on domestic suppliers. Government procurement, please understand. Whenever government procures, the focus is always on the domestic suppliers. Government will impose restrictions so that the foreign suppliers will not be allowed to participate. Right? So argument is domestic suppliers is the focus. But in recent times, Government of India has signed a trade agreement with UK. All of you heard of this? Right? Government of India signed an agreement with UK. Right? That is CETA, SETA, Comprehensive Economic Trade Agreement. SETA. Right? It has signed a SETA with UK. Now listen to me carefully. One of the provisions under SETA says the UK companies now will be allowed to bid for government procurement in India. And in the same way, reciprocation. Indian companies will be allowed to bid for the UK projects which the government of UK will propose. Is this point clear to everyone? I want answer from everyone, by the way. I know lot of you must be having lunch now. Lot of you must be eating, right? And basically listening to me. So please either hit right thumbs up like this, use the emojis, or type alphabet yes, alphabet Y, etc. So that I understand that you people are understanding. So argument is simple. Government says reciprocal, right? The market will be opened up. Government procurement market will be opened up. And this is going to promote competition. This is going to promote participation of UK companies in India and Indian companies in the UK procurement. That is one very important update. And the Government of India procures through what? Government of India procures using GEM. At the ministries, right? Let's say the departments will procure using GEM. So basically now in the GEM, which is nothing but a platform, there will be a facility where foreign companies, that is the companies from UK, will be allowed to participate in the government procurement of India. This is one very important update. Second very important update, listen to me carefully now. It is mandatory, I said, it is mandatory for the union government departments to procure using GEM. What about the states? What about the states? Is it mandatory in the states also to procure their requirements through GEM? Listen to me. All the states and UTs, all the states and UTs have adopted GEM. The point clear? All the states and UTs have adopted GEM. But there are only 8 states where it has been made mandatory to procure through GEM. Is the point clear to all of you? Do let me know. All the states, right, they've adopted GEM. Means what? They are there on the platform GEM. But it is not mandatory in all the states to procure the requirement of goods and services using GEM. Only 8 states have made it mandatory. Now the government is considering asking all the states to use the GEM platform. Use the GEM platform because it is much more transparent. Government will be able to save money because every bidder has to place the documents, has to place the bid only through platform. No corruption in the system. Right? It will be much more efficient. Payments will be done right online. Documents will be submitted online. Right. So that is the reason the government is considering asking all the states to basically make it mandatory. So these are the two very important current affairs updates associated with government e-marketplace. Done. Now suddenly imagine UPSC will ask you a question. How the GEM has played a role in democratization of government procurement, elaborate. This is what UPSC will do to you. UPSC will simply say the GEM platform or the GEM has made the procurement process of the union government a democratic system. It has democratized the procurement. They'll say elaborate. Now you will catch hold of the term democracy and you will keep on writing about democracy from the politics aspect, from the polity aspect. But the question has been asked in the GS paper 3 and you need to connect GS paper 3 concepts, that is economic concepts, with GEM and democratization. Democratization in this context basically means available for all. Understand this, right? It basically means this feature can be used by multiple stakeholders in the economy. That is the meaning of the term democratization, accessibility, availability. You will have to write from that particular aspect. So what are the points you will need to write? Have a look at this particular data. Please have a look at this particular data. And again, this is simply a screenshot of whatever is given in the handouts. Right? Whatever is there in the handout, this is simply a screenshot of that. Please have a look at the point such as, right, the last one. Please have a look at the last point here. Nearly 37% of the procurement value has come from micro and small enterprises. And don't you think this is providing a ready-made market for MSEs to sell their goods or services to government of India? Is it not democratization? Otherwise, what could have happened? Larger companies, right, basically will be involved in quid pro quo system with government officials. Corruption could be there in the system, right? Or the government officials will not be worried about procuring from smaller entities. They will procure only from the larger entities. That is not going to happen here. Look at the last but one point as well. Please look at the last but one point. Women-led MSMEs in the government procurement. How many women-led MSMEs are registered on the GM platform? 1.69 lakh women entrepreneurs. 1.69 lakh women entrepreneurs are registered on the platform, which means even they can participate in the bidding process, right? Bid, and if they win the bid, they will sell. The government will procure from the women-led enterprises. Also, very good outcome. Right? Have a look at this. 97% of the orders have been placed without any kind of transaction charges. That is, it has made the transaction, right, the costly, the earlier process where you are supposed to basically impose, I'm sorry, where you are supposed to pay certain charges to place the bid, etc. All of that has been done away now. 97% of the transactions which have conducted on the platform are, right, 0 rupee, including 0 rupee transaction charges. Right, whatever you will get the amount after selling, okay, but to place the bid, you don't have to pay any charges now. So these are some of the very important points which will show what kind of reform this the GEM is, how this reform has helped in, right, basically improving the procurement, how it is promoting women participation, how is it promoting the MSME participation, etc. Please make a note of all of this. Write it in the answer if at all a question is asked on this. Done? Let's solve the question now. Please solve the question very quickly. Kritika B, Deepak Priya A, Pavan B, Manikant Kumar B, Gaurav B, undefined B. Okay. Geeta C, Pooja B, Rohit Shetty. Are Baba. Director Rohit Shetty. B. Cat and dog. B. Are Baba. Be aware. I hope you are located outside Delhi. Cat and dog. B. Right. Shubham Kumar B. Prashant B. Fiza B. Ghansham B. 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 Anshu Gaurav B. Okay, let's start. Consider the following statements regarding government e-marketplace. This is used for procuring goods and services. Yes. Yes. This is used for procuring both goods and services. Second, it is mandatory for the departments under the union government and the states to procure GEM. And through GM, no, please understand. Union government, it is mandatory. For the states, all the states, it is not yet mandatory. Only 8 states have basically taken this as mandatory right now. It is managed by the Ministry of Commerce. Yes, it is managed by Ministry. So first statement is correct. Third one is correct. Right option will be option B. Only two of the statements are true. Done? Everybody is okay? Hope you are enjoying the session. Do let me know in the chat section. I hope all of you are understanding the concepts that I'm discussing. You're enjoying the session together with understanding. If yes, right, please show the appreciation by hitting the like button. Hit the like button, and if you yet to join our YouTube channel, kindly do it right now. Let's go forward. Next one. Government may blend soya meal with Bharat Atta. Soya meal with Bharat Atta. What are the important points here? Point number one, all of you heard of Bharat Atta? What is this concept of Bharat Atta? Please understand. The government of India through various agencies is selling the atta. Atta means flow, right? Atta is nothing but flow. This particular atta is being sold at a subsidized prices. Right? The government of India is selling the flow at subsidized prices through various agencies. What is the logic here? Government simply is worried that if I allow only the market forces, right? If I allow only the market forces, then basically it is going to have an impact because all of this is not affordable. All of this is not affordable. That is a precise reason that the Bharat Atta product is being sold. Bharat Atta is being sold. Now listen to me carefully. In addition to this, the government is also implementing one more program called as National Oilseed Mission. National Oilseed Mission. Right? Under the National Oilseed Mission, what is basically happening? Government is promoting the production of oil seeds, promoting right the usage of oil seeds to produce oil and sell it in the domestic market. And what is the use of that? Our import dependence. Our import dependence will be lower. Right? Because mind you, along with the crude oil, our import dependence of edible oil is also very high. Along with the crude oil, right? Basically, the edible oil imports is also very, very high. And everybody is able to understand. Now, what is the problem? The problem is under this particular mission, we are producing lot of soya beans, right? We are producing lot of soya, and the export of soya in recent time has gone down. The export of soya has gone down. And when exports will basically, right, that we do to the international market will go down, the domestic supply will increase. Everybody is okay. The domestic supply will increase. And when the domestic supply will increase, right, the market prices will start crashing. The market prices will start falling down because there is so much of surplus supply in the domestic market. Now, what is the government of India considering? Look at this. What is the government of India considering? Government of India simply says there is too much of surplus supply in the domestic market. One, first we will basically take the oil out of soya, right? Around 18 to 20%, right? Around 18 to 20% from the soya, you can extract oil. At first, it will help in producing the edible oil in the domestic market. Right? We will produce oil, and remaining whatever is left out is called as soy meal. Right? Whatever is left out is called as soy meal. And I hope all of you know this, or else those who are, let's say, the fitness freaks in the group, those who basically go for gym every day, they can attest to this. Soya has a large amount of protein. Correct? All of you are okay? It has a large content of protein. So what government of India is considering now is, why don't we test this? That is, we will blend this. We will basically blend this with Bharat Atta that we are selling. Is the point clear to all of you? Please do let me know. Right? What we want to do now is we want to blend it. And that is basically the Bharat Atta that we are selling in the market. Now we want to have a blending of some of this particular soya meal in the Bharat Atta. And what will happen as a result of this? The protein content that is there in Bharat Atta, the protein content will start increasing. And because this is being sold at a subsidized price in the market, of course, after the blending is done, certain prices will change. Prices will change because the composition will change, prices will also change. The government is simply saying, first, let's remove oil, let's take out oil. And whatever is left out from the soya meal, let's use it to blend with. Initially, they want to blend 5%. They want to blend 5%. So let's basically start blending this and sell it in the market so that the protein content in the Bharat Atta will also increase. And mind you, this is important. Why? In recent times, Government of India has basically implemented Pradhana Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. Pradhana Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. This is basically under NFSA now. Now, don't you think under this initiative, government is providing 5 kgs of free food grains. But one of the concerns has been, is it going to provide sufficient nutrition to beneficiaries? Yes or no? Please do let me know in the chat section. You're providing 5 kgs of, let's say, free food grains. Let's say 5 kgs of, right, let's say paddy, that is rice. If you provide 5 kgs of rice, will it provide sufficient nutrition to the beneficiaries? So don't you think there is already a concern that you're providing the food security? You're providing food security. But what about nutritional security? What about nutritional security? That's the reason the government is talking about fortification of food crops. Remember this. There is also talk about fortification, right? Fortified rice, fortified this, fortified that, etc. So that the nutrients that are required are supplied along with the food grains to the beneficiaries. Now, in addition to this, you can add one more reform. Again, I'm saying, in addition to this, you can add one more reform. This is yet to be implemented. I repeat, this is yet to be implemented. Government is simply saying, can we try it out? If this can be tried, the protein availability for the population, that is the beneficiaries who are purchasing the subsidized Bharat Atta, that is wheat atta, now the protein consumption of the population will automatically start increasing compared to earlier consumption. That is basically what is being considered by the government of India and which is discussed in this article. Is everybody okay with the discussion? Please do let me know. Is everybody okay with the discussion? Right? For example, sir, where can I use this information? Right? Some of you will be thinking, agreed. You have given me what is soya meal, you have told me what is soya oil, etc. etc. Where can I use this information? My dear, let me ask you one question. Soya, is it a kharif crop or a rabi crop? How many of you know the answer? Soya, is it a kharif crop or a rabi crop? Suddenly UPSC can ask you this. Because this is there in the newspaper, suddenly UPSC can ask you this. Is soya one of the crops covered under the MSP policy? Is it one of the crops covered under the MSP policy? Think of it. And those are saying whatever answer, please have a look at this. Soya bean is a key kharif oilseed crop. I'm underlining whatever is given in the article. Right? I'm just underlining what is given in the article. Right? Basically, the article says soya bean is a key kharif oilseed crop, right? And the government has been focusing on increasing the productivity. And as such, this is also there in the discussion because this is one of the crops which has fallen into contention in the trade war between USA and China. At US and China, one of the crops that has been in the contention is soya itself. Right? So all these points are there in the current affairs. Be aware of it. Right? UPSC can raise questions on this. Then can we go forward now? Please do let me know. Can we go forward? Okay, let's go forward. Regarding nuclear energy. Regarding nuclear energy. Yesterday also this was there in the discussion because of, right, let's say the self-reliance angle, because of the speech of Prime Minister on Independence Day. So please listen to me carefully. There are two articles I'm covering here. There are two articles. One from Financial Express, second one from Economic Times. What is being discussed? Point number one, listen to me now. The government of India in the recently announced budget, the government of India in the recently announced budget has stated that we will come out with a new framework to promote nuclear energy. We will come out with a new framework to promote nuclear energy production in India. Right now, lot of the electricity that is produced, a large chunk of electricity that is produced in India is thermal. Is the point number one okay with all of you? It is thermal. And when you talk about the thermal energy in India, the concern is basically one, it leads to high pollution, correct? It is very high polluting because you are burning coal. Thermal power plants will lead to lot of emission, right? Highly polluting. Second one, we are import dependent. We are import dependent. Right? The coal that is available in India is not high quality coal. We require high quality coal. That's the reason we keep on importing the coal from rest of the world. So import dependency is there. Pollution is a concern. So what is the solution? Government of India simply says we will promote nuclear energy. Again, right, sir, what about renewable energy? Yes, government is promoting renewable energy as well. By 2030, the government of India set up a target of how much? Anybody can tell me how much is the renewable energy target? How much is the renewable energy target that the government of India set up by 2030? I want answer from everybody who is there in the session. And what you know, don't search it in the Google and tell me the answer. Tell me what is the target that the government of India set up for 2030 renewable energy target. Quickly, tell me. Before I tell the answer, I want answer from your side. 100 gigawatts. Renewable energy target, my dear. Renewable energy target. Ghansham says 500 gigawatts. Shubham Kumar 100. Rishi Raj 550. Others. Others. 500, 500, 500. Searched in Google. Sir, Google, very quickly, Google, tell me what is the target, right? So 500 gigawatts. 500 gigawatts, right? So 500 gigawatts is the target. So in addition to this, now government of India says, I want to promote nuclear energy. I want to promote nuclear energy. And what is the target the government of India set up? The government of India set up 100 gigawatts of nuclear energy by 2047. 100 gigawatts of nuclear energy by 2047. Amritkal. By 2047, we want to have 100 gigawatts of nuclear energy capacity production in India. Right? By end of decade, we want to target 22 gigawatts. And by 2047, we want 100 gigawatts. Right now, how much is the nuclear energy produced in India? Just around 8 to 9 gigawatts. Right now, the production capacity in India through nuclear energy is around 8 to 9 gigawatts. So government of India says we are very ambitious now. We want to produce more and more nuclear energy. Right? And please understand, in this particular regard, government of India is considering making certain important changes. Certain important changes we want to make now. One, we want to change certain laws which are restrictive in nature, which are implemented by government of India. We want to make certain amendments to the laws. For example, in India, there is Atomic Energy Act. There is a law, Atomic Energy Act. And please understand what is the importance of this Atomic Energy Act. Historically, if you see, there have been different industries which have been kept under the complete control of government. For example, industrial policy of 1956. Most of the industries were brought under the control of the government of India. Post 1991, we have liberalized most of them. We have allowed private sector participation in most of them. But even today, if you ask me, sir, give me one example where only government is present. Only the government controls everything. No private sector, only the government will control everything. It has to be atomic energy. Is my point clear? Please do let me know. It has to be atomic energy. Atomic energy completely under the control of the government of India. Sir, what about railways? Private sector is allowed? Yes. In railways, private sector is allowed. Right? What about space sector? My dear, government of India is allowing up to 100% FDI in space sector. Right? So I hope you understand it is this which is under the complete control. So what is the government of India thinking now? One, I will make changes to certain laws such as Atomic Energy Act. In addition to this, there is also one more piece of legislation, civil liability nuclear disaster. Right? Civil liability. Who will be held liable if there is a nuclear disaster? Will it be the supplier? Will it be the operator, etc.? Who will be held liable? That also they want to amend now. And so argument is one, we will make changes to the laws. Second, until now, it is only the government owned entities which are there, which are allowed to import nuclear material, process the nuclear material, mine the nuclear material, etc. Now government says, I want to allow even the private sector. Remember this. This is one more very important change. The government is considering allowing the private sector entities to mine, to import, to process the nuclear material. And India is not the first country which is allowing this to the private sector. There are multiple countries around the world which have allowed the private sector to conduct these kind of activities. This is a second very important change. Third very important change that the government is considering is allowing the private sector to operate. Understand this, to operate. Just a second. I'm writing so that you will understand the difference between the second and third. It is considering the private sector to operate nuclear power plants. It is considering forming guidelines based on certain parameters. It wants to allow even the private sector companies in India to operate nuclear power plants. Right? So these are the three very important changes that the government of India is considering doing it now or in coming days, so that the nuclear energy will be opened up, private sector participation will be allowed, right? And the investments in India, specifically in the nuclear energy, the investments will flow into India. But having said so, according to the government guidelines as of now and in the coming days, once the fuel is used, there has to be right the cleaning of the fuel, the disposal of the fuel, etc. Right now, it is controlled by the government. And even after the changes, the government sources basically say government will continue to control what will be done with the spent fuel. How the spent fuel will be disposed of, it will be controlled by the government itself. So is everybody okay with these three updates associated with the nuclear energy in India? Do let me know. Is everybody okay with these three updates? Right? Please remember this. Please understand this. You can use it in the context of the prelims as well as in the context of the mains as well. Okay, let me go forward now. Next article. PM Kusum 2.0. PM Kusum 2.0. Now, what is this PM Kusum? At first and foremost, please have a look at the long form expansion of PM Kusum. PM Kusum basically stands for Pradhan Mantri Kisan Urja Suraksha Evam Uthan Mahabhiyan. I'll repeat it. It is in Hindi. Right. So Pradhan Mantri Kisan Urja Suraksha Evam Uthan Mahabhiyan PM Kusum initiative. what is the importance of the PM Kusum initiative? Please listen to me very carefully. The government of India has implemented this initiative. The objective here is to basically ensure that the farmers will be made available, or farmers accessibility to funding will improve. They will be able to get the access to funding and install solar pumps. Remember this, they will be able to install solar pumps in their field. They'll be able to install solar pumps, that is harnessing the sunlight. Harness the sunlight, convert that into electricity, use it for pumping purposes, as well as supply to the grid. Supply to the grid. Right? What are the advantages of all of it? Advantages are: one, we will be promoting investment in infrastructure associated with agriculture. That is a point number one. So, how much assistance is given by the government in case of PM Kusum? In case of normal area, this assistance will be 30% of the project, 30% of the cost. In hilly regions, in difficult terrains, northeastern states, etc., this will be provided at 50% of the cost. 50% of the cost. And so, financial assistance provided by the government. So, you will be able to harness the sunlight, convert that into energy, that is electricity. Now, the electricity can be used to run the solar pumps which are installed in the field. The farmers' dependence, the farmers, right, dependence, the farmers' dependence on the grid connected electricity will be lesser now. They do not have to be dependent only on this. Third one, if there is excess electricity produced, you will be supplying it to the grid. Now, this can be used to supply electricity to the rural regions as well. And fourth one, instead of running these particular pumps using diesel, lot of farmers use diesel to run these pumps. Right? So instead of being dependent on the running on the right using diesel to run these pumps, now the farmers can shift, use the solar pumps, the emissions, the right, let's say the burning of the diesel, dependence on the diesel, etc., will go down. And so all these are very important points. Please have a look at this. Please have a look at the picture that I've provided here. It offers financial assistance for installing solar powered irrigation systems. That is true. Right? Central government will provide subsidy up to 30% for installing this particular project. That's also true. It will help reduce the carbon emissions. I've told you how. That is also true. It will improve energy access in the rural agriculture areas. That is also true. Right? So basically, these are certain very important objectives with which Government of India implemented PM Kusum initiative back in 2019. So far, more than 34 gigawatts of installed capacity. I repeat, more than 34 gigawatts of installed capacity has been done under PM Kusum. Another very important point you need to remember is there is an initiative of Government of India by the name of Agriculture Infrastructure Fund, AIF. Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. Right? What is the importance of Agriculture Infrastructure Fund? Under the AIF, which is being implemented by the government till 2032, 2033 now, the government of India simply says, I will promote infrastructure related to agriculture sector. They use a specific term in the context of this, post-harvest infrastructure. Please remember this. The government of India simply says under the Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. And if you're wondering what is the connection to PM Kusum, I'll come to that also. Have patience. I will connect both of them. So, under the AIF, Government of India has allocated 1 lakh crore rupees. And the fund is worth 1 lakh crore rupees. And under this, the Government of India simply says, I want to promote development of post-harvest infrastructure. Now, very recently, Government of India has subsumed PM Kusum, right? The two components, there are three components under PM Kusum. Two of them have been subsumed under Agriculture Infrastructure Fund now. Is everybody able to understand? Right? There are three components of PM Kusum. Now, these have been subsumed under Agriculture Infrastructure Fund, which means if you want to install a solar pump, you want to get the financial assistance, you will get the financial assistance under this particular fund now, AIF. So these are certain very important points. Government of India is considering launching the second round of PM Kusum, that is PM Kusum 2.0. And the government simply says, whatever is the installed capacity in the first right version of the PM Kusum, we want to target the same amount, right? Basically, promote installation of at least the same value of the gigawatts in the PM Kusum 2.0. Everybody is okay with this particular initiative. Please have a look at this. As of June 2024, PM Kusum has provided benefit to more than 4 lakh crore farmers. 4 lakh crore farmers. That's not a small number. It's a very, very good number. Of course, is there a scope to cover more? Of course, yes. And there are crores of farmers in India. There's a huge scope, right? And this will help agriculture sector in a great way. That's the reason the government simply says, I'm considering launching the second version of PM Kusum titled as PM Kusum 2.0. Everybody is okay? Do let me know. Everybody is okay? Can I move on to the next article? Right, two more articles are there. I think just factual information. One is IFSCA and the second one is a MGNREGA. Just factual information. Then I'll basically take up your question, address your questions one by one. Let's start. IFSCA expert panel recommends a 25-year tax holiday for gift city. What is this? Point number one, the government of India post 2005 has implemented SEZ policy. All of you heard of this? Government of India passed Special Economic Zones Act. Based on the SEZ Act, they started implementing SEZ policy in India. Now, one such SEZ, which is present in Gujarat, is present in the Gujarat, state of Gujarat, is GIFT IFSC. Which is present in Gujarat is GIFT IFSC. What is GIFT IFSC? Gujarat International Financial Tech Center. IFSC is basically International Financial Services Center. Right? IFSC. What is the use of this? Right? What is the reason why it is called so? Right? What is the importance of being classified as an SEZ? Please listen to me carefully. There are multiple financial services which are provided at GIFT IFSC. Multiple financial services. Okay. Sir, what kind of financial services? Banking. Example, banking. Example, insurance. Example, stock market, commodity markets, etc. Different types of financial services are offered in the GIFT IFSC. And the beauty of the GIFT IFSC is, please listen to me carefully now. If you conduct the same transactions in the rest of India, there will be different regulations, different taxes which are applicable. Is it okay? There will be regulations applicable, there will be taxes which are applicable. And moreover, when you conduct these transactions in the rest of India, that is the remaining part of India outside GIFT IFSC, these have to be conducted in the domestic currency, that is Indian rupee. Whereas if these services are provided, if these are conducted in GIFT IFSC, these are conducted in foreign currencies, generally they will enjoy tax benefits. They will enjoy tax benefits. Is everybody okay? And that is the basic reason, or that is basically the feature of SEZ. That is basically the feature of a special economic zone. So argument is, we have set up an international financial services center under the SEZ policy. The units which are set up there enjoy lot of relaxations, enjoy lot of tax benefits. But listen to me very carefully now. These tax benefits are offered only for 10 years. These tax benefits are offered only for 10 years. And it's almost 10 years since the setting up of the GIFT IFSC. So the IFSCA, and what is IFSCA? International Financial Services Center Authority. IFSCA is the regulatory authority. Is everybody okay with this? Please do let me know. It is the regulatory authority of GIFT IFSC. Just like we have Reserve Bank of India in the context of banking, just like we have SEBI in the context of the stock market. For IFSC, which is the regulatory authority which has been set up, IFSCA, IFSC authority. Now, this authority set up a committee, and this committee has given recommendations. What are the recommendations? The most important recommendation is the tax benefits are offered only for 10 years. We should extend it. We should basically extend the tax benefits. Instead of providing this only for 10 years, you should extend it by or another 15 years, make it 25 years. Provide the tax benefits for 25 years. Or else the committee also says provide the tax benefits till for 2047. Right? Extend the benefits till 2047, extend the benefits so that these entities which are present in the special economic zones will have incentives to come to India, will have incentives to conduct transactions in India. It will promote the growth of this international financial services tech center. Otherwise, if you withdraw the tax benefits very soon, like this, after 10 years, there may not be sufficient promotion. There may not be sufficient attractiveness associated with this. This is one very important recommendation. Second very important recommendation is there are a lot of individuals who are involved in conducting transactions. Lot of individual investors are there. And these individual investors generally are located in countries where the income tax rates are very, very less. For example, Singapore. For example, other countries where the income tax rates for these kind of investors, when they are involved in conducting transactions in the international financial services, income tax rates are very, very less, negligible, some cases 0%. What this committee has recommended is, why don't you basically provide these kind of income tax exemptions as well for these investors only, so that these experts who are located in these tax havens will relocate, will come to India, will start participating in the Indian IFSC. It will help in promoting the Indian IFSC. Then everybody is able to understand. Right? So these are some of the important recommendations which have been provided by the committee which has been set up by IFSCA. Finally, the 11th article, just for sake of information, MNREGA. It is an initiative of the Government of India. Under MNREGA, now please make a note of this, new type of jobs have been added. New type of job categories have been added. For example, what kind of job category has been added? Forest fire management as a new category of job work under MNREGA has been added. This has been notified by the government. Sir, what is the meaning of this? There are multiple states which were providing the employment opportunities for fighting fires. And now the union government simply says, if you provide these kind of job opportunities to fight, let's say, forest fire, these job opportunities can be provided, employment opportunities can be provided as a part of MNREGA initiative. It can be provided under the MNREGA initiative. So this is the new category, job category that has been notified, added by the union government under MNREGA listing. Done. So just a factual information. Please make a note of this. UPSC, just to make the question difficult, can ask you this question. MNREGA has been asked, right? Multiple times MNREGA has been asked. 100 number of days, right? 100 days are provided. Every adult is covered, etc., etc. All of that is done. Now, just to make the question very difficult, they can ask you this kind of a question. Okay. So these are the 11 articles I wanted to cover in this particular, right, let's say, video, right, where I'm covering the Indian economy articles from different newspapers. And before I start taking up the questions, two very important things. One, listen to me carefully. Some of you will be confused that, sir, you are doing economy this week and you're also doing this. Is there an overlapping? No, there is no overlapping. Economy this week, different set of articles. That is also current affairs. Right? The monthly current affairs that I'm covering, again, different set of articles. What is the logic behind it? The logic is to ensure there is a comprehensive coverage of all the related economic current affairs from different newspapers. From different newspapers. Because I know you people basically swear by the Hindu newspaper. You swear by Hindu newspaper, saying that I am covering the Hindu religiously. But UPSC will not ask you questions only from the Hindu newspaper. So the objective is very simple, as much comprehensive as possible, whatever is relevant for UPSC from the current affairs. I'm covering in economy this week, which is uploaded every Thursday. And second one is the monthly current affairs. And there will be no overlap. Those, let's say 5 into 4, right? 4 weeks, assuming 4 weeks. 5 into 4, 20 articles. And right today, 11 articles. So in this month, you have covered 31 current affair articles only from the subject of Indian economy. Please tell me, please tell me beyond this, how much you want to read? Beyond this, how much you want to remember? Beyond this, where do you think UPC will pick up a question from current affairs, etc.? So I hope you understand 31 articles for a month is more than sufficient, not just for UPSC, right, and other, right, let's say state civil services examination as well. And second point, right, this is the QR code of my Telegram channel. If you want the notes and the PPT that I'm using, please scan, join. And I'm saying, I'll repeat this. I've created a Google Drive. In this particular Google Drive, the link for which will be given to all of you. I'll upload that link in my Telegram channel. I've uploaded all the handouts as well as the PPTs of economy this week, as well as right, the monthly current affairs I'm taking. You do not have to keep on searching in the channel. Everything it will be available in this single Google Drive. Download it. More importantly, read. I hope you understand. More importantly, read. Objective is not to download. Objective is not to become collector, right, of the documents. No. Objective is to, right, make you read the documents. Done? Okay. Now, right, do let me know if there are any questions associated with the articles that I've covered today. Any doubts? This week economy happens? Yes, my dear. Please check. Thursday evening. Thursday evening, the video was uploaded. Please check. Okay. Sir, drawback of IFSC recommendation as of now, these are just recommendations. Let them be implemented. If there are any issues, I will let you know. Shubham Kumar, sir, in the next further session, will you cover recent maritime regulations like Indian Ports Bill? My dear, if it is right passed, if it is being implemented, let's cover it. And I don't want to commit because right, let them be passed first. Okay. Ghansham, as like Indian credit system comes under SEBI, do the international rating agencies come under some regulatory agency? My dear, in India, yes. If they are operating in India, they will have to come under the regulatory authority in India. Okay. What is liquidity? Liquidity basically means how much money is readily available for the banks to lend. How much money is available for the banks to lend? That is right technically called as liquidity. Okay. Aman Barnwal, sir, about individual balance sheet. What do you want to know about individual balance sheet? Do let me know. Rajendra Kumar, sir, I will follow you. Is there anything extra needed? My dear, how much more extra you want to read? Tell me. How much more extra you want to read? For example, I'll tell you one thing. You'll say, sir, mains answer writing. For mains answer writing, every week I'm giving you one or two articles. I'm giving you questions also. Read the article, attempt the question. So you are not only preparing for preliminary examination, at the same point of time, you are covering for mains examination as well. Right? Be aware, prepare for the mains examination as well. That is, practice mains answer writing. Because according to me, the toughest phase in the UPC examination is mains answer writing. The toughest phase is mains answer writing. Right? Why? Prelims, it is basically rounding off. You know, you don't know, or else you take a guess. But mains answer writing requires knowledge, requires the skill sets, requires practice, requires a lot of information, requires structuring the answer. That will not come overnight. Trust me when I say this, it will not come overnight. So please practice mains answer writing as much as possible. Please practice mains answer writing. Anshu Gaurav, how to improve economy? My dear, with more and more practice, with more and more revision, with more and more current affairs update, over a period of time, your economy will become better, right? It will become better over a period of time. Overnight, don't expect. So the ratings of credit rating agencies affect T bills. Rating of credit rating agency affect T bills. My dear, the government might find it easier to sell now. Might be able to, right, basically offer lower coupon rate and borrow from the market, right? That is basically the impact on the borrowing of the government. Anything else for your kids? Please make a class on inflation. Okay. Sir, with reference to Gift City, what exactly is the rationale for its establishment? My dear, please understand, in the global market, there are certain centers which are set up. Centers which are set up. These centers basically will promote lot of transactions. And when you promote these kind of transactions without any taxation, with loose regulations, etc., lot of money will flow into that country. Lot of money will flow into that particular country. That's the reason these kind of regions are established. India says we do not have this kind of IFSC. Because understand this, initially this kind of IFSC was proposed to be set up in Mumbai based on the recommendation of a committee. Remember that committee also, Percy Mistry committee. We wanted to set up in Mumbai. Later we realized, okay, in Mumbai there is a region also, BKC, Bandra Kurla complex. From there we decided to shift away from Mumbai, that is Maharashtra, to Gujarat. Right, Gift IFSC city has been developed for this purpose only. Which economic book is best for UPSC? My dear, there is no single book. There is no single book, right? So you can book any, you can use any one standard book. Okay. Those who are attending my sessions, they will know that I generally provide my own notes. I provide my own notes for advanced topics as well as the basic topics. I give my own notes. Okay. Anything else? Done then. So let me stop the discussion today here. Again, reiterating, please download the documents. Use the documents for revision purposes. Right. Again, on Thursday, I'll be bringing out economy this week. Please do watch economy this week as well. Both are not the same. Right. That is also covering current affairs. This is also covering current affairs. That will happen once in a week. This will happen once in a month. Right. So both are covering the economic current affairs itself. Right. Read, download, and if you like this particular initiative, right, please do not forget to hit the like button. Join our YouTube channel right now. Done. So that's it from my side. Take care. Have a great day. See you next time.